everybody, PattyAnne here. I'm back for take 2 of my newest challenge, my mystery kit challenge from Jean Freda. If you watched my live video, you saw the struggle that I had making my project for you guys, right? Well, take 2 worked. I'm going to show you. Check this out. That's what I wanted to do for you guys in take 1. In take 1, all I was able to do was this much because I had such an issue with the vinyl. So I'm not sure if it was a bad piece of vinyl that I had, it was a different sheet than what I've used on take 2, or what, if it was user error. Anyway, follow me down here and let me show you how I went ahead, took Jean Freda's inspiration and made this really cool take 2 towel. These are the towels you can get really inexpensively at Walmart. I recommend that you wash them first. They come in a 5-pack, sometimes a 4-pack. Anyway, let's get busy. Okay, this was take 1 that I finished live that I was not able to weed properly for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, I'm going to show you how I did this right quick right now. So this was the inspiration that Jean Freda sent me. It is on a towel. And let me get rid of this little bar that I have right here. All right, so the first thing that I did was I measured my towel, and I knew I had about 6 or 7 inches to work with. So we'll just make a 7-inch square. So I'm going to come over here to the squares and draw a square. And I'm going to come up here and change its height and width to 7 inches. So it's a square. And hit enter. All right, and then I'm going to change it so there's no fill by coming up here to the transparent area right there. Okay, so now I know I have this area in which to work, and that'll fit probably. Did this fit? No, but that's okay. So the first thing that I did was I did the words farm fresh, and to do that I came over here to the text tool and typed in all caps, because look at her sample there, it is all caps. I typed in the words farm fresh. And I can just move that over here for now and just leave it, whoops, right there. And then I also typed in, well, first I went ahead and tried to figure out what text I wanted to use for this. But before I did that, I went over here. I got this tree that I think is super, super cute on Google. And I need to trace it so I can use it. So I'm going to come over here to the trace tool and select the trace area and just trace it. And it's perfect just like that, so I'm going to say trace. And now I can get rid of this tree because I don't need it, and I just want this one. So I'll bring it over here. Obviously, I'm going to need to make it a lot smaller so it will fit, be proportionate. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to color it in gray by coming up here to the color swatch and changing it to gray. Now, I just wanted that little funky-ish kind of tree because I think it's a lot of fun and has a lot of character, but I decided to use some regular trees for the 2 trees on either side. So I came over here to where the shapes tools were. They're called the flexi shapes. And I grabbed the tree, and it's actually the very first one that I like, this one right here. Grabbed it, and I just drew it out right like that. And I made 2 of them, and I made them a little smaller. But before I finished with this guy, I did go ahead and make a trunk on him. So I came over here to the shapes and got the rectangle and just drew one out like that, put it where I liked it, and then I just grabbed those 2 items, right-clicked, and said weld. Perfect. So then I'm just going to bring this guy, hold down my Alt key, click on this, hold down my Alt key, and drag one over to the other side. Perfecto. All right. So the next thing that I'm going to do then is I'm going to go ahead and weld these together because I want them to be like one piece. So there's no cut line here anymore or here. So that's exactly what I wanted. All right. Now the problem is the word farm fresh is supposed to be rounded up here. So to do that, I'm going to move this up. I'm going to come over to the shape tool again and get a circle. I'm going to draw one out And let me see if I'm going to like that. So I'm going to right click on this circle that I made and say send it to the back. Okay, to me that looks like that's going to be a pretty good circle onto which to put my text, Farm Fresh. Now, I think what I decided to do, or I know what I did on the other one, was I changed this font. I did not want to use Arial, which is how it came in. I decided to use one that I really like called Calibri, C-A-L-I-B-R-I, Calibri. And when I looked at that, I thought, you know, maybe I should make that a little bit bolder. So I came over here and clicked on bold, and that made it thicker. And then the other thing that I thought I would do is look how far apart these letters are spaced. So I did the same thing for mine by coming down here to the character spacing and space them apart like that. Okay, and then I could double click back on this to get it back to the text editing text editing. And I know it is because it has a green box around it and a little line here and a double-headed arrow. So I'm going to drag that down and look at that. Just goes whoopsie right around there just like I'd like. Except for that, I think it's a little too big. So I'm going to go like this and make it smaller. Uh-oh, let's go Control Z. Let's get this off of here first. Uh-oh, I got to Control Z back a bit. There we go. And I'm going to make it smaller first because it's too long. There we go. That may work better. So now I'm going to double click on it again to get the text editing function back. Grab the four-headed arrow and bring it down around the circle again. There we go. Like that. Perfect. Now, if I want to make sure that these are equally spaced, the F and the H, I can come up here into the ruler and drag down a little bar. And you can see that the H is down fine, but the F is up higher. So if I want to, what I could do is double click on this and move it a little bit further. But I think I like it kind of like that because I like the space to be where that middle tree is. Now, if I want to get rid of this circle here, I can't. It's attached. But to get rid of it, all you have to do is click on the text, come up here to Object, Convert to Path, and then that makes that text stay rounded like that, and it allows me to get rid of the circle. I'm going to delete it. Just like that. Whoopsie daisy. Bring this down here like this. Okay, the next thing that I decided to do was all of these other pieces of text, other than the word Christmas tree, I did in Arial font. I usually only like to use 2 or 3 at the most different fonts in a project, unless I'm using a whole slew of them for some reason. So I'm going to come over here to the A again, make sure my cap locks is on, and I'm going to type in the word or the abbreviation established, EST period. And I'm going to click off and click back on. I'm going to make it a lot smaller. So it goes like this. And I think I'm going to make my trees a lot smaller because, whoopsie, let's go back, Z. Let's move the established. Let's group these guys. And now I'm going to make these guys a lot smaller. Okay, I'm having a little issue there. Let's go Z, Z, Z. Let's move the Farm Fresh out. Let's make sure we grab all of the trees. Right-click and group. And now I can make them a lot smaller, so they'll fit proportionately under here. Kind of like what Jean Freda's sample is. Something like that. All right, then I'll take the word established and put it over here. And I'll take 1924. I decided to make it the year that I was married, which was 1974. And I'm going to not going to highlight that. I'm going to just click on it and make it smaller. Now I want these two fonts to be the same size. So I really like the size of the word established. So I'm going to click on that to see what it is. And if I come up here, Arial, obviously, and it's 28.59. I think I'll change it to just a 28, and then I'll make 1974 also 28. So they are even Steven, 28, and hit enter. All right. Now with my 1974 still selected, I'll hold down my shift key and grab the established, and then come up here to the alignment tool and align them bottom, just like that. Perfect. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do fir, spruce, and pine. And remember what I did was I did a triangle in between each one instead of the circle. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to type in fir. I'm going to do about 5 spaces. I think I just counted 5. Let's see. IR 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And spruce 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And pine. All right, and they went on different lines, and that's okay. We just have to stretch this little bar out to get them on the same line. And now, obviously, I want to make them a lot smaller so they look like that. And it looks like they kind of come out as far as the 2 other texts above them. So now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and put the little triangle or the little diamond in between them. So to make the diamond, I came over here to the shapes again, and I didn't. I came up here to the line tools, and I got the draw a polygon tool. So then I came up and I drew a polygon. So I went like this, this, and this. Double click when I got back, just like that. Then what I did, I'm going to make it a little skinnier. It's a little chunky. There we go. All right. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead over here to the replicate panel, and I'm going to say mirror below. So now I have 2 of them, and I need to overlap them a bit. I must have done it crooked. Let's get rid of these guys and try again. So I'm going to come over here again to the draw polygon tool, come up here. I'm trying to go to the little squares, so I'm kind of trying to stay even. All right, there we go. And then I'm going to replicate him, mirror him below. Notice that I can mirror below. And now if I try to weld these 2 together to make them one, they won't turn into one because they're really not overlapping. So I'll just click on one of them and move it up maybe 2 notches on my arrow keys on my keyboard. Now I'll grab them both and say weld. And there we go. They're welded perfectly. So now I can make this smaller and make it smaller yet. Make it fit right in there like that. I like that. And now I'll hold down the Alt key on my keyboard and drag another one right over here. Just like that. Perfect. Liking it a lot. All right. So now we're on to the word Christmas trees. And you may be thinking that I used Magnolia Sky for this, but I decided to use another one that I really like, and it's called October Twilight. So I'm going to type in Christmas with a capital CHRISTMAS, Christmas trees. And I'm going to go ahead and change it to, whoops, I'm going to change it to over here, October Twilight. All right. Now, for those of you who watched me doing this earlier, you saw that I didn't really like the T for trees here. So, and Barbara and several others were saying they really didn't like the S's, but I'll just leave it like that for now. But I am going to get rid of the T for trees because this one over here is not so fancy and this one is really fancy. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to double click on it and I'm going to go to backspace to get rid of that T, and I'm going to try to put in a lowercase t to see if I like it better. And I do. I like that much better. So I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to go ahead and weld this, right click and weld, and I'm also going to group. And that's something different that we have to do over here as opposed to in Design Space. So there we go. Looking good. All right, the next thing I wanted was this line under here, and I don't have that exact line. So what I decided to do was I came over here to my text tool, and then I came over here because I remembered that I have a font called Samantha Craft. Samantha Craft. But in addition to Samantha Craft, if you happen to have purchased that one, and I'll have a link for it down below if you'd like to get it, it has lots and lots of glyphs in it. Like, let me show you. All of these things that are in here, let's go back. All these fancy letters. I mean, like really fancy, pretty letters. I could change the S to one of these if you'd prefer. But what I'm going to do, though, is instead of being in Samantha Craft, when you purchase that, you also get Samantha Frames, which are right here. I'm going to click on that and see if I see a frame that would work under here. Now, this one could kind of work, but it's a little fancy. I don't want anything that fancy. I kind of like that. I think I'm just going to go with something really plain, though. The arrows would be kind of cute. Huh. Use a scroll bar instead of that thing. I had one in mind that I used for the other one. See if I can find it. Okay, it was above these. Getting close. There. Getting really close. There it is. This guy right here is what I decided to use. So I'll double click on that. And actually, I can now come over here and put my cursor right before it and go backspace to get rid of the A. And then if I want to, let's see, can I weld these two together? Do they weld? Yes, they sure do. So I'm going to weld those two together. And then I think I'll go Control and duplicate, or hold down my Alt key and duplicate. And maybe duplicate one more time. Let's see if that's too much. That might be too much. Let's look and see. No, I kind of like it like that. So I'm going to go ahead and grab all these and come back up to the alignment tool, say align bottom. And then I'm going to see if I can weld them. They may not be overlapping, so I may not be able to. Let's check it out. I'm going to scroll in to see if there's any lines in these. Okay, that worked perfectly. I love it. So now I can scroll back out. Whoopsie, scroll back out. And I'm just about done. All I have to do now is to go ahead and, let's scroll in a little bit, put free sleigh rides and hot cocoa. So I'm going to come over here again to this tool and type in free, whoops, all caps, free sleigh rides and hot C-O-C-O-A, cocoa. And again, it's too large, so I'm going to make it smaller. Let's get rid of this box. Click off and click back on, and you get these little boxes, so it's easier to manipulate. Bring this down here. Let's see. I'm looking to see on their sample, it came over to the S and kind of to the H, like that. And maybe what I'd like to do is change my letter spacing just a tiny little bit. So I'm going to click on this and come back over here on the right hand side to the text style panel and change my character spacing just a little bit, like that. Okay, and I think that looks terrific. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go ahead and group it all. And actually, they're not very centered, some of these things. Let's ungroup. I'm going to group all this. Weld it. group it. And that should be all welded. That should be grouped. I think I should do these guys together. And move these guys. Okay, they're grouped. All right, so I'm pretty happy with all this now. What I can do, whoopsie, those weren't grouped. So let me fix that just a sec. Okay, let's group all these guys together. All right, now let's get these down. Get Christmas trees. Okay, now what I probably would do, I think this will work. If I come up here and align center like that, perfect. To my head, it looks a little bit off though, so I might want to move Christmas trees over just a tiny bit. All right, there we go. Okay, I'm pretty satisfied with that now. So what I would do is I would come up here to Object, Convert or Make Compound Path, because then that makes that into one cut file if we want to take this over into Cricut Design Space and use it there. So let's get rid of these other two that I made earlier, and this one that was Jean Freda's sample. If we're in Silhouette, we'll just come up here to Send. I'm going to send it just like this. Heat Transfer Smooth. I'll put my settings the way I've already tested and that they work, and I'll say Send and send it. If I'm going to use this in Cricut Design Space, I just come up here to, whoops, File, Save As, Save to Hard Drive, and I'll just name this Jean Freda Challenge. No, Mystery Kit. Jean Freda Mystery Kit, and I'm going to have to save it as an SVG so we can use it in Cricut Design Space. But one other thing I want to do, I want to see what size it is. It's 6.068 wide. So I'm going to put that number in here, 6.068 wide. So I'll know whenever I have a number like that in my name of my file, that is the width. So I'm going to save it. Now I can come over to Cricut Design Space. New project. Upload. Upload an image. Browse. Jean Freda Mystery Kit 6.068. Open. So there it is, coming in perfectly. We'll say Save. There it is. Insert. It's going to come in weirdly sized. It just happens. Look at the size it is. 2.1, but we know it's supposed to be, with the lock locked, 6.068. Enter. And then we know it will be the exact same size that we made it for ourselves over there in Silhouette software. So then we can just go to Make It. It will be on one mat. Obviously, you will need to reverse it, mirror it if it's going to be HTV. And that's what mine is because I put it on a towel, so you make sure, let's cancel this. And all you'd have to do is go like this. And let's see, how do we mirror it here? I have forgotten how to mirror. Flip. Flip horizontally. There we go. And then it's ready to go just like that. So that's it. That's how easy it is. And luckily, I was able to go ahead and do it quickly for y'all so y'all could see that it definitely did work. I will have this design later on for free on my website, PattyAnne'sPlace.blog. Be sure to go there and grab it if you don't want to make your own, or make your own. That's the object of this. Get used to using Silhouette software. It's a joy to use. It's not hard to use. I heard some people, last night, as a matter of fact, somebody's live kept saying that it was hard to get to use or hard to get to know or a little more difficult. I think it's a lot of fun, but I like computers and I love designing things myself. It's just a blast. So anyway, thanks again for joining me. See y'all again soon. Bye-bye.